All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, excuse me. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations and blessings to you sincere brothers out there pushing the truth across the four corners of the earth. I'm the brother Shaman from St. Louis chapter of Great Millstone. And, real quick, the Lord is pushing a masculine vibration out, and He's using Israel to do it. And, the thing about what we do, according to the scriptures, we go out to the streets and we teach and we push the vibration of Israel. We push the vibration of Israel, because you got, what's considered masculine, what Jake follows, on the left hand. The whole street nigga thing, you got Jake in the streets acting a fool and selling drugs and, doing a gang of bullshit. The scriptures talk about, warning to them that are Jake is like wild bulls in the net. You know what I'm saying? And this is throughout all of the tribes. That whole thing of wanting to be in the streets and be a wicked ass nigga. Well, the scriptures talk about what? Go to the chief place of concourse. Talks about, go to the gates of the nobles. You know what I'm saying? Our forefathers were righteous men, and when they went to the streets, they went there with that righteous answer. You know what I'm saying? And that chief place of concourse. And like I was saying, man, we're the right-handed version of that whole street thing. You know what I'm saying? We have to deal with the elements. We have to go out all times of the year. You got to deal with Esau and the police and whoever walking up on you. You know what I'm saying? That's a manly thing. That's why that's one of the things that separates the men from the boys, basically. All right, and that's one of the things that a woman is absolutely won't do. These women, they'll lie, they'll say they believe and they don't believe. They'll go into the church and all that stuff. But when it comes to so-called street teaching, which a lot of churches, they know they're supposed to be in the streets teaching. They have what's called a street ministry. You know what I'm saying? Which, if they came against any, the Great Millstone camps, they're gonna be confounded in the scriptures. But that is an aspect, that's an ancient aspect of who we are, all right? And being able to carry yourself, because, once things go to the streets and you can, deal with all the things that go along with that, anybody can walk up on you. You know what I'm saying? That's a masculine thing, all right? And that's in the scriptures talk about that, once this gospel goes to the four corners of the earth, and that's the way it's going, and that's how it's supposed to go. All right. And this is Revelation 21. And once the gospel reaches the four corners of the earth, eventually, we know that the day of the Lord is going to come, and the destruction is going to come, and all of that stuff. And this is what comes next. All right, because what we're doing is going to be rewarded. And it's very important, especially coming up to the Passover, as men, for us to evaluate ourselves, you got to clean your house out. You got to clean your actual house, but then you got to clean your actual temple. You got to evaluate yourself, because this is getting into the spirit. This is the first month of the year. And that's why, elders and apostles and elders on down, they always teach that, around the time of the Passover, that's where, things start to change, because we're coming into a new year. You know what I'm saying? Even though the calendar is January, February, March, spiritually, it is what the Lord created it to be. So this is Revelation 21:1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and He will dwell with them, and they shall be His people, and the Most High Himself shall be with them and be their power. And when it said, you know, the Most High is going to be with us, it's talking about His Spirit. His Spirit is going to be on us. All right, that masculine spirit, that masculine energy. Part of them breaking and destroying us was them, we know, covering the faces of the judges. You know, taking our images, taking our heroes, taking, you know, the different legends, who, or the different prophets. You know, these different great men. I'll say it like that, who were seen as who their stories were written, and they were seen as an example. And it's all through men, you know, and not just any men, but the men of Israel. All right, the men under the order of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, so-called black people. All right, and it was no. You had examples of women, of course, in there, who they played their part when it was time to. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that certain women didn't play their part, but every time you see a woman in the scriptures, she's playing a lesser role. Maybe she was an assistant, you know. Maybe she was the wife of a famous man, or she assisted him. Maybe, you know, the Lord used her to take action against the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Which that's sort of a rare occurrence, but it did happen. All right, and you know, been watching brothers' videos, man. Brothers going in, man. Everybody in the world knows what we're saying is true. You know, the whole child support thing. You know, all the stuff that Esau has done to break up the households, all the bullshit that 2/3 have done to break up the household and the community, and all that stuff. The whole world, you know, knows what we're saying is true. All right. And first and foremost, man, that a lot of that energy, and I'm starting to see, you know, in my personal life, man, a lot of that energy is going against the so-called black woman. All right. A lot of these black women and these damn women, these wicked ass women of the tribes, you know, they have their little 5 minutes of where they can get over, but then, you know, they end up, you know, old and alone and bad shit out of their mind. All right, and that's a pain greater than death, man. So the Lord is riding with us, man, and just like it said, his energy is really gonna be us in the kingdom, but right now, you know, the Holy Spirit is on us to do what we're doing. And He is riding with men, and all of these, not just the women, you know, because they're an enemy, but the heathen nations, you know, they're an enemy. Esau, he's an enemy. You know, then we got enemies amongst Israel, and hell, you got your own flesh that's an enemy. All right, but we see what the Lord did, you know, throughout all of those different enemies that He had to also face. Yeah, and that's part of the Passover too, man. The Lord dying and giving Himself up, because ultimately He was born on the Passover and He died on the Passover, and He paid that sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? That's a great masculine thing, and that's something that they've done, you know, to His legacy. You know, the most famous man in history, they've taken that and they feminized him. They made His image feminine, they made His vibration feminine, you know, putting him in you know, you see the Lord, you know, He's always half naked or something. He got the long, glowing hair, even though the scriptures talk about long hairs for women. You know, he's always smiling and stuff. The scriptures talk about, you know, the Lord is an austere man, and men of the Lord scarcely do they smile, which, you know, it's a certain point to that, you know what I'm saying, because what we're doing, what we're dealing in on our day-to-day is no laughing matter. You know what I'm saying? It's serious business, but the point being, they altered and changed our images. They altered and changed who we are. You know what I'm saying? They altered and changed the Messiah. And you know, the Messiah basically is the key to it all. So if they could change Him and alter Him, you know what I'm saying, then they could go from there, and then they could make other changes too. And that's exactly what's happened to the doctrine. It's become watered down. But as you can see, the doctrine is going to be pushed in truth. You know what I'm saying? We worship the Lord in spirit and in truth, and that's one of the first and foremost important parts. All right, and I'm just end it off on this. All right, because speaking of the tabernacle, This is what happened in the tabernacle. You know, I'm just backing off the energy that brothers are bringing out, and then the apostle Gabar was going in on how you should honor your father and make amends to your father, and that is very important. All right, this is Numbers 1:3. It said, matter of fact, 1 and 2. Take ye the sum of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families by the house of their fathers, with the numbers of their names, every male by their polls, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel. Thou and Aaron shall number them by their armies. And you know, if you were 20 years old and up, you had to go to war. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't no sitting up and you know, chilling with your friends and shit. You had duties as a man. You know what I'm saying? And at that age, you would have already understood and had an understanding for you were supposed to at least have an understanding for the art of war, have an understanding for how to fight. The scriptures say what? Teach Judah the bow and the sword, right? And then it's going to outline the different captains and the top men of each tribe. All right, but then here's the most important part that I'm trying to get to. Numbers 1:18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So they knew, you know what I'm saying, that's another part of it. We knew the names of our fathers. We knew, you know, Esau, he'll show, you know, he'll steal it and put it in his movies, you know. My name is this, son of this, son of him, son of him, son of him. And then, you know, probably the way Jake is, you know what I'm saying, the honorable spirit we have, we probably could have traced that line all the way back, you know, as far as possible. You know, but now we're not in that, man. We've been, you know, cursed, cut off from our fathers, cut off from the ways of our fathers. The scriptures talk about what? Going into the ways of our fathers for the Israelites. All right, so, hey, going into the ways of our fathers is very important. Very important. And the tabernacle of the Lord is with men. All right, so it's very important for us to grow as men. It's very important for us to make considerations as men. You know what I'm saying? Because we're coming up to serious times, man, where, you know, it's going to be life and death on the line. And you want to have, you know, a trust and an understanding, and, you know, that all the men who are around you are on the same page, who are at the same understanding. You know, that there be no divisions among you. You know what I'm saying? Because intense situations, you know, if certain things aren't kind of agreed upon, it's going to be breakdowns. You know, it's going to be breakdowns, it's going to be divisions, it's going to be, you know, great disagreements and all that stuff. That's why brothers are pushing so hard for togetherness, you know, one body, brothers linking up, you know, brothers getting together and coming to one accord on certain issues, you know, large and small, because that's who we are, the Israelites. That's part of the scriptures too, understanding of large things and small things. So with that being said, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Lord willing, is edifying. Maybe we continue to march as men into this battle. You know what I'm saying? And we know that the elect are going to come out victorious, and they're going to go forth and bring us into the kingdom. All right. So Kwam Yasha Allah Shalom.